Hello everybody, this is Cyrus here, back with another Matchbox video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Matchbox Ferry Terminal playset. The real name of this playset is called the Ferry Port, but I like to call it the Ferry Terminal, in my opinion, so we'll get into this video. So the vehicle included is this Land Rover Defender Model 90. There's not a lot of paint detail on this other than your headlights and taillights, but that's okay. They did it in like a little bit of a baby blue color. Now, this is definitely something that isn't going to be exclusive to this set, as I think we've gotten this blue color before, but I'm not mistaken. However, the other thing that's important to note is the fact that when it comes to this piece, they've also included the same Land Rover in a 9-pack recently. And then we also have, this was not part of the playset, this Nissan NV van, but I would recommend that they included this instead of the Land Rover, and then also had this available individually in the singles. As on the side it says Harbor Ferry Transport, so this is obviously like one of those like transportation for the ferry company, for if you needed to pick up like any old people. This is one of those specialized vans for that purpose, and they were going to be taking a ferry trip, then they would probably use this. So definitely this would have been probably a better fit in the set. I also have some other things I want to quickly go over. For starters, we'll look at the ferry before we get into the playset. I want to quickly point out that I did do some tests on my TikTok account. The ferry is buoyant. The only spots you need to worry about water leaking in are these little holes here, these 6 holes. There are some openings underneath, but it is sealed over, so water can't really get in, unless you want to fill those as well. In terms of what I recommend filling these holes with, either hot glue, grout, they use that all the time for bathrooms, so it's obviously waterproof. Or another example, waterproof sealing that you'll use for houses in your like door frame areas and your like window frames and stuff. So you could easily fill up those holes, and the ferry will float in the bathtub or pool. The trick is you don't want to put any cars on it, and I can tell you that, you know, most Matchbox cars are going to have a little bit of weight to them. Not a lot, but definitely if you have this full of cars, it's not going to float. It's going to end up at the bottom of the ocean with the Titanic. Little joke there. But one thing that's also nice about this ferry is you do actually have some molded in detail. You have 3 life jackets, what looks like a fire extinguisher, and also if I go to the other side, you also have either a coil of rope or a coil of hose and a little bucket. Then on the other side you have 3 life rings, as well as the 3 life jackets that I obviously pointed out. There is some nice detail on the ferry's bridge. And although the ferry does require some assembly, the bridge sticker has been already put on, so you won't need to put that on, which is a nice touch. In terms of some of the other details, you have like some molded in rocks and dock bumpers, rope, and then you also have a little bit of a crab right there. You do have some more coiled rope and life rings there and there. More dock bumpers. More rocks and stuff. And then you also have a couple of hidden seagull details. We've got one on that toll booth gate, one on top of the toll booth, and then also one more up here. And I believe there was another one around here somewhere, but I think that's the 3 seagulls that were hidden on this playset. So definitely they did include a very good amount of detail for this playset, in my opinion. Now, we'll get to features, just quickly show you the other side. There goes my Land Rover. So, When it comes to the ferry itself, this drawbridge will raise and lower, so we'll focus on like the road portions first. So it has your tabs. You can connect it to other Matchbox playsets. We'll take our little Land Rover, drive him around without him rolling away. You have your opening gate. I realized that part of the playset hadn't been pressed down enough. So there we go. The other loose areas, but I think we're good. So you just drive it around. You have your raise and lower drawbridge. And what's nice is this gate piece is actually connected to the drawbridge. So when the drawbridge is down, folds over to the side, up, it moves over to block the path area or drive area. Then you can drive your Land Rover across the drawbridge when it's lowered. Drive around here, we have more gates and stuff. And then come around, and that's it for the main playset ring. Now for the ferry portion. So we tested out the Land Rover, now let's test out our Nissan van for this. So you're going to start off by bringing in the ferry. Let's obviously move it in gently, and this is actually a trick when docking a ferry. They actually have to have the ferry come in nice and slowly so it doesn't crash. And then once it's docked in place, they can then lower down the ramp. Then let's take our Nissan van, drive it up to the toll booth, press down, the guy will come out. Once you pay, you just drive across onto the ferry's car deck. And as you saw, there's a little feature. There's a plastic nub on the end, and when the ferry's ramp hits that, it will come down. And you can essentially fold up the ramp when you're done. And their car is loaded. And then leave. So that's the main terminal area where you'd enter. I recommend getting 2 of these play sets, because then you have another ferry dock on the other side of your body of water for the ferry to go to. Plus, normally with a ferry terminal like this, normally they will usually have the lowest amount of, usually they'll have more than 1 ferry. If they're going to have like only a couple of ferries, sometimes they'll usually mostly have 2. That's not important right now. You obviously arrive at the other dock, get unloaded, and then when it comes to the return trip home, when you're taking some other cars back to the mainland, so you would dock the ferry at this end. Now, just a heads up, obviously you saw the car get loaded on this way. Now, on some ferries, they have a bridge in the middle and a propeller at both ends of the boat. On some ferries, like this one, this isn't the case, and they actually have to turn the ferry around, so when it's pulling out of the dock, they'll turn it around so it can sail forward. But then when they arrive at the other side of water, at the other shore, so to speak, they would have to actually turn the ferry around and have it dock backwards to unload, and then the car would drive off. So now that our car is unloaded, there's no ferry there, so the drawbridge is obviously going to be lowered right now. So let's drive across and leave the ferry terminal. So there is the ferry terminal playset by Matchbox. Definitely, it's a really good playset in my opinion. I think this definitely passed with flying colors. It's something more unique and different. Hot Wheels did do a ferry playset way back, or I think around 2013. That was when they had their city sets. However, obviously that one's no longer available, so you'd have to look on eBay for that. The set was called the Seaport Village. And the other thing with that Hot Wheels ferry terminal was the fact that it was also a Walmart exclusive. So it's nice to see Matchbox come out with, you know, a ferry terminal, and you know, this is something they haven't done, Matchbox hasn't done yet, so it definitely scores points for being different, in my opinion. So that does my video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'll see you in some more videos very soon. Bye.